A very good evening to you from wherever you're watching us from. This is Lookuptv, and we're just in time for the spotlight on this seventh day of August 2023. Now, 25 years, or exactly 25 years after over 200 people lost their lives in the 1998 Nairobi bomb blast in the capital. Now, today, Kenya commemorates the loss of lives and those who lost their lives in a ceremony that was attended by Azimio co-principals, including Martha Karua and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. The main message being the compensation of those who lost their loved ones. Now again, today the Finance Act hearing began with the three-judge bench led by Justice David Majanja. Of course, Christine Mioli and Lawrence Mugambi heard the case. That in a hearing that was not short of drama after Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah did disagree with Justice David Majanja over the dismissal of his application to, of course, cross-examine both speakers of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, and his Senate counterpart Amason Jeffa-Kingi. Now that and many more on our bulletin tonight. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines.
On the spotlight, 25 years of scars. Victims of the August 7th, 1998 bomb blast commemorate the day as leaders push for compensation. Day 3 of 5. President William RUTO tours Nyeri commissioning projects in his 5-day Mount Kenya region tour as Kenya Kwanza and Azimio settle on the bombers of Kenya for the dialogue. And medical doctors from Embu County have given the county government of Embu a 21-day strike notice if they fail to address their work-related issues.
Now, welcome to the program tonight. I am Ian Keitani and our sign language interpreter is Josephine Auko. We begin the bulletin with matters the Finance Act, and the High Court has declined to suspend the sections of the Finance Act as the hearing of the petition officially kicked off with a three-judge bench. Now, the judges consolidated all petitions, giving petitioners until August 10th to amend their petitions. Replies must be filed within 7 days on August 17th, or rather 7 days later on August the 17th, and supplementary affidavits by August 24th. Now, all the documents limited to 10 pages. The court's decision comes after a hearing on July 29th where petitioners argued that the Finance Act violates the Constitution. Now, the government argued that the law is valid and that it is necessary to raise revenue. The next hearing is scheduled for the September 13th.
Against the implementation of the Finance Act by Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah, the Law Society of Kenya and several NGOs was today heard by the three-judge bench comprising of David Majanja, Christine Mioli and Lawrence Mugambi after the appointment by Chief Justice Martha Koome.
First of all, the Court of Appeal in its decision observed that the High Court can actually give orders suspending specific provisions of the Act. That was given by the Court of Appeal. And so, my Lord, in the circumstances, if you were to proceed and give an order, you would not be.
However, Justice David Majanja declined to issue interim orders against the implementation of the finance bill, with the three judges consolidating all the petitions with the hearing set for the 13th and 14th of next month.
Once the Court of Appeal lifted the suspension, it meant that the Finance Act would be implemented. Although the court stated that the court could consider suspending specific provisions of the Act whose implementation would have an irreversible effect, and where parties cannot be refunded, we are not persuaded that we should exercise this jurisdiction at this stage in view of the fact that those issues were all before the court when it made the decision. Any petitioner in any of the respective petitions who wishes to amend their petitions may do so, to file and serve their respective petitions by 10th of August 2023. By 10th of August 2023. If the petitioners wish, they may file their supplementary affidavits, but they should file their written submissions on or before 24th of August 2023.
The session was, however, not short of drama after Busia Senator Okiya Omtata differed with Justice Majanja over the dismissal of his application to cross-examine National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and his Senate counterpart Amason Kingi over their replying affidavits.
Consequently, we reject the applications to cross-examine Speaker of the National Assembly and Speaker of the Senate. Those applications are dismissed.
If these people can't defend their affidavits, then the affidavit is struck off the record. We need a fair trial, and we need an equal, and the authors cannot be cross-examined on them. I need to be heard. I need a fair trial in this court. I need to cross-examine the Speaker of the Senate, who is my Speaker and my junior.
Omtata, we have made a ruling, and thank you very much for your observations.
The hearing comes after Justice Mugure Thande forwarded the files to the Chief Justice Martha Koome after issuing conservatory orders, only for the Court of Appeal to lift the orders weeks later, with the court summoning EPRA Director General Daniel Kipto over contempt of court. Omtata, however, after the ruling, slammed the Treasury over misappropriation of funds through the budgeting process.
The budget itself, we have identified a lot of theft. What we believe is theft, or open theft by, at this place I would think is the people in the Treasury, who are fixing things within the budget for them to steal, and it runs into hundreds of billions of shillings. So we are going to bring out all those issues.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Remember, of course, EPRA is on the spot over the implementation of the new fuel prices and the announcement of those prices on June the 30th, despite a ruling by Justice Mugure Thande that, of course, gave conservatory orders against the implementation of that said act on June 29th. Of course, we'll be following up that particular hearing on the 13th and 14th of next month. Moving forward, Azimio co-principals Martha Karua and Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, among other Azimio leaders, joined thousands of Kenyans in remembering those who died in the August 1998 bomb blast. Leaders who attended the service are pushing for a message of compensation for those who lost their loved ones, as well as the survivors of that particular bomb blast.
25 years later, still these faces reflect on the pain they had to go through, a tragedy that left them with scars. Today, they gathered at the Memorial Park to remember those who died from the terror attack.
Victim of the August 7th, 1998 U.S. Embassy bombing. And I just want to say, first and foremost, I just thank God that I'm able to be here standing before you all. And I just, one thing I want to say is that I hope that today will be a memorial that is not looking at the past in despair, but actually a day where we can have a celebration of life.
Kwa majina anaitwa Abdulmuhsin Hassan Ufkai. I'm one of the victims of a 1998 bomb blast. When that incident happened, I have lost my father in that destruction. So by then I was 6 months. I have grown up as an orphan. So today we come here in memorial to remember, and we want USA government, because all those people have died on their behalf and at their embassy. We want the US government to compensate for the victims of 1998 bomb blast.
Compensation for the victims was championed for by different leaders, with the Senate ad hoc committee promising to seek justice on behalf of those affected.
I'm more aware about the Kenyan case. And I've been reflecting this morning and asking, what could we have done better as a country, as government, because there was a period I was in government. What could we have done better to expedite compensation for the victims? What could the US government have done better? Yes, we are friends. What could we have done as friends to ensure that there is closure for the victims?
hawa wa Kenya pia mungewaweka kama wana Kenya kwanza, to stand with them, to keep working with the American government to ensure that justice is done and compensation is received. And even as we go into the future, we want to urge the American government, as our partners, let us continue strengthening our partnership in the war against terror.
The Senate is currently probing plans laid to compensate the victims, have assured victims to be endlessly working to ensure the justice they seek is served.
Through the U.S. Victim of State-Sponsored Terrorist Act, we request consideration to make Kenyan victims eligible to participate in the U.S. Victim Terrorist Compensation Fund.
Victims and survivors of the bomb blast attack that took place 25 years ago have gathered here today for a memorial service here at the Memorial Park in remembering the loved ones, asking the government of Kenya and the U.S. government to come in terms for compensating the loved ones. Mavin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, on August 7th, 1998, the bustling streets of Nairobi were shaken to their core as a devastating bomb blast rocked the city. Now, the events that unfolded left a scar on the nation, reshaping its path forever. Brian Amwai revisits the 1998 bomb blast.
25 years ago, the heart of Nairobi, Kenya was forever changed as a devastating act of terror sent shockwaves through the nation and the world. The U.S. Embassy in Nairobi engulfed in flames, thick plumes of black smoke billowing into the sky, and a chaotic scene of emergency responders and civilians. On August 7th, 1998, an unthinkable tragedy unfolded as twin bombings struck simultaneously in Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The targets, the U.S. embassies in both cities. The orchestrators, Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization led by Osama bin Laden. As the sun rose over Nairobi's skyline August 7th, seemed like any other ordinary morning, but unknown to the city inhabitants, a malevolent plan was about to be set into motion. At precisely 10:30 a.m., a deafening explosion erupted near the United States Embassy, releasing an ominous plume of smoke and debris into the sky. The ground shook, windows shattered, and chaos ensued as the streets filled with panic-stricken individuals desperately searching for their loved ones amidst the chaotic scene. Emergency services rushed to the scene, struggling to comprehend the extent of the devastation. The facade of the embassy was reduced to rubble, leaving behind a haunting silhouette against the Nairobi sky. Nearby buildings were shattered, their interiors exposed like open wounds. The force of the explosion had left a mountain of debris, a solemn reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded. As the city grappled with the aftermath, authorities began the painstaking process of unraveling the mystery behind the attack. It was soon revealed that the bomb had been a truck laden with explosive, strategically positioned to maximize destruction. The investigation pointed towards the involvement of Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization led by Osama bin Laden. But this revelation sent shockwaves not only through Nairobi, but also across the global community. In the wake of the tragedy, Nairobi united in grief and resilience. The injured were rushed to hospitals and makeshift aid stations were set up to provide assistance to the affected. International support poured in as the nation stood in solidarity with Kenya, condemning the senseless act of violence. The scars left by the 1998 bomb blast are still evident in Nairobi's landscape and its people. The blast site has been transformed into a memorial, a somber reminder of the lives lost and the resilience of the survivors. The tragedy prompted increased security measures worldwide, forever altering the way nations approach counter-terrorism efforts. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you very much, Brian Amwai, for that particular in-depth story. Moving forward, President William RUTO toured Mount Kenya today as his tour entered day 3. Now, the president today launched a 45-kilometer road construction in Nyeri County, that is the Ishamara-Rutune route, that is expected to be completed In a span of 6 months, RUTO is set to launch several development projects in the region, projects that have been uploaded by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, saying that they will serve as economic enablers. Ruga Ival with the details.
President William Ruto has launched the upgrading of the Maram Ichamara Thangade Rutune Road, a launching that will see the road network upgraded to a tarmac one. Ruto, who is in Mount Kenya for a 5-day expedition, is accompanied by several government officials and is targeting to launch a slew of development projects in that region.
Kama njia ya kuhakikisha kwamba kuna kazi ya hawa vijana, ile maneno tunaagiza kutoka nje, sijui tunaagiza furniture, tunaagiza simiti, tunatoa chuma kutoka nje, hata samaki tunatoa China. Mimi nimesema kuanzia mwaka huu hakuna samaki itatoka China tena. Hakuna kitanda italetwa tena kutoka Ulaya. Hakuna simiti tena itatolewa sijui kutoka wapi. Simiti tutatengeneza hapa Kenya na vijana hawa wetu watafanya kazi hiyo.
Ruto was in the company of Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, who has applauded Ruto's form of leadership, resonating it to that of the late President Mwai Kibaki.
Na wewe rais, ukifuata hiyo rais njia ya Mwai Kibaki, hawa watu ya udhaya watakupenda milele. Na hiyo njia ya Rais Mwai Kibaki ndio njia ya kutengeneza Kenya.
On his side, Cabinet Secretary for Transport Kipchumba Murkomen has complained and condemned the distractions caused by the opposition wing, fearing that repairing them will cost them a whole lot.
We want an assurance as a Ministry of Roads ya kwamba wanasiasa wote, Kimani Ichung'wah akiwa majority leader, akienda kukutana na marafiki wake, condition number 1 wajiandikishe ni kwamba hakuna infrastructure itachomwa tena na barabara haitachomwa matires kwa sababu hatuna pesa ya wananchi kuwaste.
Ruto on Saturday embarked on an extensive tour of the region that will see him traverse through Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Laikipia and Nyeri counties. Gachagua, the region's foremost political leader, said the development projects would be a game changer for the region's economic prospects. Tomorrow, President William Ruto will be commissioning the Kaigonji water project in Tetu constituency. Ruga Ival, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Eva Regal, for that particular story. Now, the story takes us to a fast break. Don't go away because we'll be coming to you with more stories on this bulletin after the break.
I want this done on file today.
But again, boss, it's already fine.
I say today.
Can I do it tomorrow?
Today.
Wait. What? 1 million? I quit. Excuse me, boss. I quit.
How do you quit? What are you going to do?
So, skiza boss, nimeshinda na Lotto Mita Mania. So, unacheka like kabisa kama ka organic farming, nitajijenga nako,
Toka hapa. Utarudi tu hapa.
Sawa. Adios.
It's bigger. Hourly cash wins. It's the Lotto Mita Mania. It's raining millions every hour. See your Lotto. Cheza Lotto Mita Mania. Ushinde 1 million every hour. Isitoshe, kuna mega grand draw ya hadi 200 million shillings kila Jumatano na Jumamosi. Cheza Lotto sasa. Timiza ndoto zako.
Na hii Lotto.
Nenda kwa M-Pesa paybill number 77700. Andika neno Look kama account name. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2000 na ushinde sasa. Raundi hii ni more draws, more cash. The Lotto Metamania is here.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
So the story we're telling today is a story of passion in practice that grows into business.
We have partnered with the Youth Fund, talk to as many youth as possible and work with them, hold their hand.
It is an expose of captains who have decided to take on challenges in different sectors and industries within the country.
My mentors had also not started as CEOs. They grew up and they showed me how they grew in the organizations. So that's what motivated me to actually do international business. And it was a good experience.
As an individual, support in bridging that care gap, part of me also to offer a solution. I want to leave this world a better place than I found it.
This is the Captain's Arena. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage.
Well, the National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah says the government and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party have agreed on the Bomas of Kenya as the venue for their inaugural meeting. Now, Ichung'wah made the announcement during President William Ruto's road trip at Mukurweini, Nyeri County. Ichung'wah stated that these followed discussions with the Azimio team leader Kalonzo Musyoka.
As days to have the dialogue between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza first approaches, Leader of Majority in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, has announced that Kenya Kwanza and Azimio leaders have settled on the Bomas of Kenya as the venue for the much-anticipated talks.
Na leo Mheshimiwa Rais asubuhi nimeongea na Mheshimiwa former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka na tumekubaliana Wednesday saa 5:30 tutakutana pale Bomas, sio kwa hoteli. Niliwaambia hakuna chai na hakuna pesa ya kununua chai na hakuna allowance. Tutapatana hapo Bomas, tukae chini, tuongee mambo ya mwananchi wa kawaida.
Speaking in Nyeri, Ichung'wah, who is leading the Kenya Kwanza side, said they had agreed on the Bomas of Kenya as the venue for their inaugural meeting on Wednesday. The dialogue team will hold its first joint meeting this Wednesday after a push and pull on the right date following Azimio's proposal for Monday.
Na tuliwaambia jana, sisi tuko tayari kuongea mambo yanayohusu mwananchi wa kawaida. Mambo ya kibinafsi, mambo ya kugawa mamlaka, mambo ya nusu mkate, mambo ya handshake, hayo hayako kwa meza ya sisi kuongea na wale marafiki zetu.
The venue of the talks became a subject of debate in recent weeks, Ichung'wah saying the meeting must be held in the glare of cameras to prevent Azimio from giving any personal demands.
Na tumesema agenda zile 5 rais ulituambia tuende tuongee, tutakuwa nazo kwa meza. Wakileta zingine tutawasikiza kwa heshima, lakini mambo ya cost of living, Mheshimiwa Rais, hiyo umewaambia na tunawaambia ndio kazi wananchi wa Kenya walikuajiri uwafanyie. Kwa hivyo cost of living, hiyo ni kazi ya rais na serikali yenye imechaguliwa na inafanya. Kazi ya gharama ya maisha sio mambo ya kuongea, ni mambo ya kutenda, na rais haongei, anatenda. Kanatiku adroito.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga has insisted that the dialogue between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, which aims to end the 2022 post-election crisis, must end by October 30th, failure to which they will embark on protests, terms that the Kenya Kwanza side is opposed to. Brana Mwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Remember, each side of the two teams set to engage in the talks that will be spearheaded by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo do have issues of their own, with the President William Ruto continuing to insist that the cost of living will not be talked about, as he will implement that through the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. On to matters health, and Kakamega County Governor Fernandez Baraza has called on the medical fraternity to make use of the medicine distributed by KEMSA to help the people of Kakamega County. Now, the governor, who spoke during a drug distribution drive in the county, also added that his government is keen to ensure there are no loopholes that will see misuse of drugs meant to treat patients in Kakamega.
Speaking when he flagged off a consignment of drugs and non-pharmaceuticals worth 240 million to be distributed to facilitate the top sub-counties in Kakamega. Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza has issued a stern warning to officers diverting and reselling drugs and non-pharmaceuticals meant for public facilities.
Anybody found stealing drugs, ama ukienda kule CGH waambiwa kuna madawa, we want that information kuja kwa ofisi so that we take corrective action.
Baraza has said his administration has put a system to ensure the drugs and equipments can be tracked and officers held accountable. The drugs flagged off will be tracked using an automated system from the distribution up to the stocking up in the public facilities.
Those drugs are through an automated system where we'll have a proper inventory of the drugs through our health management system, and the issuance of those drugs again will be done through the system. Besides that, we have also put in place surveillance because we must seal all the loopholes. And I want to assure you that my government is committed to making sure that madawa siko hospitali zetu are not just buildings.
Kevin Yaparo, Lookuptv.
Crossing borders to Bungoma County, and Bungoma County Governor Kenneth Lusaka appeared before the Senate Public Accounts Committee to answer to questions arising from the Auditor General's report that indicates there was misappropriation of funds in the county. Stanley Ligaria now reports.
Bungoma County Governor Kenneth Lusaka availed himself together with the county officials before the County Public Accounts Committee to defend himself against the reports by Auditor General that placed the county at the center stage of misappropriation of public funds.
With alternative projects that are currently complete as indicated in Appendix 4A. Because if they are halted, the question would be, was there any payment before they stopped? If there was no payment, then it was not an expenditure.
Lusaka pointed an accusing finger to the previous regime for increasing the number of county employees, claiming that the leadership authorized the employment of county officials against the law.
Chair, we have the listings of all the betting bids amounting to 35.
Yes, that would be important for us to see so that we can look at the dates from them and we get a picture of their age. That we can do. Yep, clerk.
In the report by Auditor General, in a span of a year, the county was found to have witnessed an increase in the number of employees from 5,000 to 7,000, stalled projects including the construction of a road that was begun 6 years ago when Governor Lusaka was the county boss, and construction of 3 unused wells whose water has since been found unfit for human consumption.
The management has prioritized the following action points so as to avoid further accumulation of ongoing and stalled projects. 1. All ongoing projects are required to be disclosed to the county treasury, and sufficient information provided on whether the projects have sufficient budgetary provisions for further consideration and prioritization. 2. All stalled projects are required to be disclosed to the county treasury and their reasons thereof for stalling for further consideration and prioritization. And 3. Timely preparation of the annual procurement plan by the fall of 30th May 2023 so as to initiate procurement processes in time.
The leadership of Bungoma County defended itself against the allegations that the market area construction project was stopped, claiming that the stoppage was as a result of construction or contractors not being paid by the just exited regime, an issue the current county government is dealing with. Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
On to matters health, and medical doctors from Embu have given the county government of Embu a 21-day strike notice if they fail to address their work-related issues. Now, speaking after a consultative meeting in Embu County, the KMPDU National Secretary General Dr. Daji Bimji noted that the county government of Embu had failed to remit statutory deductions owed to health practitioners in the last 5 months.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever for the Union.
County of Embu a notice for strike that will be beginning on the next 21 days, that's 28th. But at the same time, we are taking the Embu County to court for actually deducting the statutory deductions from the doctors are not limiting to the respective bodies. In the last about 5 months, the county has not remitted any statutory deductions that have been deducted. These are different. We have NHIF that has not been remitted of about 8 million. We have about unions that have not been remitted up to 5-6 million. We have loans that goes up to 60 million of doctors that have not been remitted. We have SACCOs and insurances that have not been remitted over 40 million. So all these doctors, they get a salary sometimes and they go to the bank and they're not able to access the money because this has been withheld by the different banks. So it's actually an injustice and immoral for the counties to deduct the salaries, to deduct the statutory deductions and fail to remit to the respective bodies. That's what we're demanding, that they have to remit these immediately.
But we want to send a warning because even within this particular 8 months, there is no step that has been taken by the county government of Embu towards solving the crisis of shortage of doctors in Embu County, promoting doctors in Embu County, payment of statutory deductions. Essentially, it is illegal for somebody to deduct your money and not submit it in your bank. Some of the people, some of our colleagues here in Embu County are losing their properties to the bank.
Still on matters health, and stakeholders in the health sector are now calling on the Senate Health Committee to improve the PHC bills to change strategies in the unpaid health workers bill. Led by HAMREF, stakeholders complain that the current bill does not take into account important roles played by community health volunteers, including their protection and well-being, and now want their identity changed from community health volunteers to community health promoters to be employed by the national government and under NHIF.
Community health promoters would be providing either that, or you have to add every other service that they would be providing. So I think what AMREF is proposing is that you just be silent on the mental health, because beyond mental health there are many other services and they are all being provided under community health services. That's at least, unless that's my understanding of that.
Time to get sporty, and KCB RFC now shift focus to the Christie Sevens that will be held in Nairobi this coming weekend after finishing in the 3rd place in the just concluded Prince Lu Sevens in Nakuru. The Bankers are in the 2nd place in the National Sevens standings after garnering 56 points after 3 legs at the moment. Now 7 points, that is 7 points behind Sugar Millers Cabras, who have gathered 63 points. The National 7 Circuit is scheduled to be held this coming weekend at the RFUEA grounds here in Nairobi before the 5th edition in Eldoret.
Today has been a mixed day. We have had different results. We blew hot and cold. We did not fire when we expected to fire, and hence we ended up playing and being knocked out in the semis, ending up playing the 3rd, 4th. But we pick up from there, learn from them. I think it's time to just re-energize our minds, because it's been a long, grueling preparation and weeks in, weeks out of playing sevens. So we need to tweak our way that we can get refreshed and be hungry to continue playing. We know what to do, but now keeping the concentration consistent is what we appreciate the fans always. Tell them to keep supporting us, because we are always challenging. We bite, we scratch, we claw our way into every win. We don't lie down and play dead. Historically, we've always been giving a good account of ourselves. Still have a couple of more legs to go. So like last year, it was decided on the last day. So we cannot write off a circuit that is still halfway through.
High school ball games for the national levels are scheduled to be held tomorrow at Kakamega Boys High School in Kakamega County. All the school teams that qualified for the finals are set for the kickoff with all preparations in place. Now, the majority of the players and coaches are determined to register positive results and represent the country in the East African Secondary School Games later on this year in Rwanda.
The boys are in good spirits. Last year we did well. We went up to East Africa. We were first runners up at the East African Championship. But this year we are targeting to get that East African Championship. But so far our journey has been very smooth. We started at the sub-county, we are the sub-county champions. We've been at the county, we are the county champions currently. And we've come here as the Western Region champions.
I think the team is in good shape. The discipline, the fitness and everything is okay. So we are really okay with the focus on the game.
The girls have got skills, they are hand, they've got a skills, to get here is not an easy thing to be in nationals. It has been a really struggle, but we really happy for that. And we can't wait to get to East Africa. Because that's what I think. I don't think they have any competition here at nationals from what I know and how I see them.
I want to believe so far we have clean teams from all the 8 regions. But those who may be found culpable, I think will be advised accordingly. I think this championship will take place probably beginning tomorrow. Tomorrow is when you're having the opening ceremony. It will run up to Saturday. We also have proper security arrangements in place, which you have done in coordination with the regional police commander.
On to matters, chess and KCB chess team portrayed its tactical prowess by overthrowing JKUAT chess team 5-0 to cement their top position in the ongoing Kenyan Chess Premier League season. The bankers are preparing to jet out of the country to participate in the World Rapid Teams Championships that will be held in Düsseldorf in Germany from the 25th to the 30th of this month.
The World Chess Body, which is FIDE, has organized the World Rapid Team Chess Championship, which will be held in Germany, starting I think on 25th of this month for a couple of days. And we are lucky and happy that KCB has sponsored us, the chess team, to go there. Now this event is, it basically takes the best teams in every country, the best club teams in every country. It's very, very, very grueling. Like, the competition is very high. I think former world chess champion Magnus Carlsen will be having a team there, and as well many of the world's top players will be there. So for us as KCB, being the dominant club in Kenya and I think even the best in East Africa, we are looking forward to go and rub shoulders with these giants of chess, basically. Well, I think the mindset is very important. We are going there minus any fear. We are going there to learn a lot and to cause some upsets.
Now, finally, Godwin Karuga, together with his teammates DM Malek, Nicholas Karoki, and Geoffrey Wafula, emerged as the overall winners of the 9th leg of the KCB East African Golf Tour at the Nakuru Golf Club this weekend. Now, the team scored 100 combined Stablefold points, hosting the other 202 golfers in the competition. Another team comprising of Titus Lisaka, Matthew Mayo, Mandip Sahota, and Amadip Jajuha finished in the second place with 95 points. Now, both teams will join 8 other teams that have already qualified for the grand finale in November this year at the Karen Golf and Country Club here in the capital, Nairobi.
I think we just had a good round of golf, really. Wasn't the exception, but within our handicaps, we played 2 within our handicap, so that helps. That 2 of us played 2 within 2 points of our handicap, and 1 played 3 points within the handicap, so 33, 34, 34. That makes the 100, so it was a good day for the team. Karen is a different course, so we'll obviously play a different golf in Karen, and we have time to prepare for Karen. The conditions will be very different, but we're looking forward to the grand finale. And thank you very much, KCB, for this noble sponsorship. And looking forward to the current round in the grand finale.
Oh, that particular story, or that particular golf story, brings us to the end of this particular bulletin today here on the Spotlight. But remember, it's Sporty Monday, and Tony Kolanda will be here to take you through proper team structures. And they'll be talking to Stanley Ekumbi, the Kenyan manager or team coach of the Kenyan under-20 football team, just to understand what does it take to have a proper team structure. We've been talking about building our teams from scratch and ensuring that we can be able to scout talents from the grassroots level. Will that ever happen? And if so, what is the way in achieving that or making that be a success? Now, I also do hope that Tony Kolanda will not talk or delve much into Arsenal winning the Community Shield. I know it's the Community Shield, but many people refer to it as Siniha. Until tomorrow, it's bye-bye from me. Stay tuned for Tony Kolanda. Do yourself a lovely night. God bless.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free